Hello, everybody. We are going to be reacting to Stranger Things Conformity Gate, and I'm just going to watch this short video with you guys to get a good idea of what this whole thing is about. And I'll let you know what my opinion about the whole thing is throughout the video. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
Stranger Things wasn't just a show, it was a decade-defining event. A love letter to the 80s, a launchpad for child stars, and for a while, it was the clearest proof that we had that Netflix actually knew what it was doing. And now, people are calling the series finale one of the worst endings in TV history,
Yep.
right up there with Game of Thrones. It was rushed, safe, predictable. But what if that reaction is exactly the point? Because we've seen this before, studios lying straight to our faces. Spider-Man No Way Home told us Andrew Garfield wasn't even in the movie.
There's a photo going around on the set of Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movie.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, so basically, the conformity gate theory is that the finale that we were given is not actually the finale, and there's just some secret ending that where we might get. And I don't know, I'm kind of 50-50 with the whole thing. I think there's a lot of details that are spotted, and it kind of just all these different things that come up, like Lucas looking into the camera saying he doesn't believe in coincidences, and then you have at the end Max is like, um, so it's just a happy ending. She's looking at the camera, and honestly, when that happened, I was expecting some sort of like snap from reality sort of situation where Vecna actually won, and so on. But yeah.
Until he was standing right there on screen. So what if Stranger Things is doing the same thing? What if the bad ending isn't bad at all? What if it's a setup? And more importantly, what if our collective outrage isn't organic, but conformity in real time?
That's pretty good.
First of all, I want to explain what people are saying the conformity gate is. It's a theory that Vecna is controlling the story without the characters even realizing it. Their lives are all conforming to societal norms, despite it being the opposite of the show's theme.
And yeah, I also wanted to explain this. I noticed that in the end, when everybody has their happy ending, whatever that is, we have Robin on the radio, and she is explaining that Hawkins is completely different and it's unrecognizable. And that I started thinking, like, what if, because I know Vecna was talking about merging the two realities, and one of the reasons or one of the things that he said was, or one of the things he said was he thinks that mankind is pretty much corrupted. And I don't know if he's doing this to save mankind or in his eyes, or if he's doing this to get back at mankind or whatever that is. Maybe there's a connection with him saying that, and all of a sudden the reality of Hawkins is completely different. It's like all sunshine and rainbows. Or if they're all under a trance without them knowing. It's all kind of speculative.
Series, the characters are seen to be rebellious, to not follow the rules, and to do what they
Oh,
feel
yeah,
is
yep.
right. It indicates that the world of Hawkins we see in the epilogue is actually just an illusion. Before
Yeah,
we even
when this
talk
first
about why
came out,
Stranger Things
honestly,
might be
was
lying to
super
us, we have
hopeful
to
that
talk about the
this
evidence. Because this theory didn't come out of nowhere.
theory
It
was
wasn't one
true,
Reddit post or
'cause
one
that
Richie
ending,
TikTok.
the
It's
finale,
hundreds of
was
fans all noticing the same
terrible.
things. I
It
first want
was
to walk
way
through
too
all the proof
easy.
the community has
It
already
was,
collected.
it
Things
just
that
didn't
just
sit
don't feel
right.
like bad
There's so
writing,
many
but intentional
incomplete parts.
misdirection. Because
There's
these
characters
theories
that
aren't making us feel like Joyce
it
with the
just
lights
felt
for no reason.
so
Because when you lined up
like two sunshine and rainbows for the finale of Stranger Things. But yeah, let's carry on. Shh. Interesting.
everything the fandom has found. Timelines don't match, character reactions don't track, and everything just seems out of place. And before we actually start dissecting the actual show, we have to head over to the Instagram
Well,
bio of
there's the
Stranger
other thing
Things.
that this
Where in
whole
their
thing was
Instagram
just
bio, it says
truly
Hawkins class of
written very
87.
poorly.
When we know for a
And with
fact
the
that at the
documentary
end of
out,
season 4,
pretty sure some
87
people
was the time they
zoomed
were
in onto his
the time
computer
where
and
Eddie was
found
going to graduate.
ChatGPT,
But in the epilogue, we're shown that they're supposed to be the class of
tabs,
89.
and
Why would they
there's a
make an
whole thing
intentional
about
error on their
what
official
if the
bio of
entire
their
script
Instagram?
was
Just doesn't seem like the Duffer Brothers.
ChatGPT'd
Moving
and
into the graduation.
everything was just truly terrible. It's definitely still a very plausible thing that could have happened, but at this point, there's so many flaws to the point where it either is ChatGPT or they're put out there intentionally so that the consumers or everybody that's watching will look at that as more detail as to why this is not the correct ending. Yeah, I didn't notice that. Yeah, I really like that detail, and you can see everybody, most people. Yeah,
We can see in a big panoramic shot, all the students have their hands in their lap, sort of like how Henry has his hands in his
Oh,
lap all
you
the
got
time,
Ned.
and how all the people under his control always have their hands together. In the background, there's a big yellow sign with no words on it, almost like someone's misremembering something. Before the graduation, it had shown us Steve coaching his baseball
This
game,
also
even
threw
though we
me
know
off,
for a
the
fact he had
baseball
always played
thing.
basketball. And in a certain clip, it shows that he was a swim team
never would
captain.
have thought that he would be a baseball coach. Never. Like, here is where I started to think, like, there was no way this is the real ending. There's no way that they truly forgot about all the major details.
But never
about
once did he ever
Steve,
mention
about
anything about baseball.
everybody, pretty much. And Nancy, she's suddenly dropping out of college or going to a different college.
But never once did he ever.
That's nothing like Nancy and how she's betrayed throughout the seasons. So it just kind of just further, it could further prove either the writers were just truly terrible for this finale, or it could also go into all of this is just Vecna giving us an illusion based on what he already knows, trying to depict everybody to the best of his ability. But who knows? It is weird. That might be just a, and it might be just what they decided to do in the moment. I don't know. This might be reaching a little bit, but
Ever mention anything about baseball.
that is weird.
We can also see a lot of the students actually staring into the camera, almost like they're breaking the fourth wall. And most notably this boy in the front, who when everyone is celebrating, decides to stay sitting. A lot of people bring up the sunglasses as well. But to me, this seems normal. It's an outdoor graduation, it's going to be sunny. And there are even more plot holes scattered throughout the entire season. But I'm mainly going to cover the biggest ones that, for some reason,
honestly,
I can't think of a reason these characters would ever
I'm kind of
mess these
thinking,
things
I'm leaning
up.
more towards
One of
that
the
being
most
a
important
writer's
plot holes I
issue.
noticed was when Joyce was
But
talking to Will
then
outside
again,
of the
you
barn.
could also say that
She
as a
says
mother,
this,
maybe there's a possibility where you just mix up the
but
age.
we know
It's
for a
pretty
fact
close,
Will
11
had
and
actually
12.
disappeared when he was 12. How do you
I don't know.
not
I think this
remember
one
the age when your
just
boy disappeared,
slightly
or
might
how
be
long he
reaching,
was actually
but
gone? I don't know, that just seems like
Yeah.
something I would never forget personally. Another callback to previous season is the Vecna Lives clip, where when they're playing D&D in season 4 with
that
Eddie,
detail's
he says
insane.
this.
Like, I remember getting on Instagram after the finale, thinking, "Oh my goodness, this whole finale thing is toast. Like everything was cut, it was terrible." And then I see edits of Eddie saying that exact same thing, and
And
these
we
edits are
see in
fire,
the
by
final
the way.
scene when Joyce
I'm gonna see
decapitates
if I can
Vecna,
find them to put them
his
in the
left arm is
description.
missing in the final episode, as well as his
But
eye.
it's
And
those details are way too close. I feel like it's got to mean something. Maybe it's just a callback. Maybe it's just I don't know, but this this detail really puts me more towards it being um there being a secret finale. But again, the Duffer Brothers could have been just really bad writers. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, so that was the scene when he was talking about how he he is with the Mind Flyer and he's actually working more of a as a team or something like that. And his reasoning for merging the two
The last
dimensions or
major one I
worlds or whatever
found
you want to
to be
call
one
it
of the most crucial
is
points about
because of
how
humanity
this
or
whole
mankind
theory
being,
is all
I don't know the word you use, but being corrupt. And this just makes me feel, it makes me think back to what Robin was talking about on the radio on how Hawkins is completely different. It's in a good way. It's unrecognizable in a good way. Everything is sunshine and rainbows, ending sunshine and rainbows. Like, what if Vecna, his idea of merging the worlds, has a connection with those two? But again, it's just out there. I'd love to do another video of this, depending on how well this does. But we'll see. We'll see how this does.
in Mike's imagination is the tower scene. When Mike climbs up the tower with him and the other 8, remember, there's 9 people total. He climbs this exact same ladder 3 times in 3 different shots. While this might be an editing error, look how in every single shot, it's actually a different angle. Characters are in different spots and doing different actions. So this wasn't all in one go. These are 3 intentional different shots. But what confuses me the most
That
about
is
this shot
interesting.
and what
But you could also say that they were just standing there, I guess, waiting. But I would have to look at the
I
shots
think
again.
most people are not looking into is that when it goes into the overhead shot of them all on the tower, Mike suddenly disappears in the middle of it. Remember, I said there was 9 of them up there, and randomly it just goes to 8. Here we can individually point
There's a possibility that he's over in this corner over here. Again, I'm kind of being devil's advocate here, because you know you got to think about those sort of things. But that is very interesting to point out. It could also be a writer's flaw, like it could be a conformity gate thing.
out
But
who's up
we'll see.
there, and Mike isn't one of them. Finally, I want to point out the basement scene. It's a scene most people bring up, but I think it has less weight than people think.
That scene right there with Max, I thought was super unusual.
It's a scene most people bring up, but
Like her flipping out like that. That I thought that was super unusual for her character, just for the situation. Everything about it, I thought was forced. I thought it was fake. Like it just didn't. It didn't fit right. It didn't sit right with my stomach either.
think it has
But
less weight than people think in a different way. Most people here bring up the look.
in this part was so weird. I immediately thought when this happened that we were going to get this awakening that all of this is fake and there might be another episode out there, because this was so weird. It's almost like she was looking right at the camera and you can kind of see her eye. This eye is kind of looking at the camera and this eye is just looking at Mike. You can kind of see it that way. But again, this was super weird, super strange for her to point out. Well, so that's it. That's just happy ending. I thought you guys were great writers. And I also was thinking during this moment, what if it's kind of like she's referring to the Duffer Brothers and how much pressure they have writing a good story? And if that is true, like the conformity gate being true, this would be insane for the writers. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how
And
it goes.
how the characters start to look like their parents, almost like they're conforming to society. Mike begins to look like his dad, although some people say he looks like Henry. Max in this specific scene resembles how Billy acted when he was infuriated.
This game is bullshit. Damn waste of time.
And in Mike's vision of Will, he looks exactly like Lonnie, smoking cigarettes and wearing this leather jacket. Also in this scene, we can see
Interesting.
glowing lights in the background, similar to the ones that were in season 1. And the major thing that most people
I did not
point
see
out
that.
about this is that in the second showing of episode 8, they actually changed the order of the books to say X, A, lie. Most people speculate this is a direct nod to us. to show us that this whole series and epilogue as of now is a total lie. And finally,
Yeah, see, details like that, it really pushes that theory forward. I think without those details, without people seeing those sort of things, I feel like the theory would kind of crumble. But details like that, and Lucas saying that he doesn't believe in coincidences while looking at the camera, kind of breaking the fourth wall. I that kind of pushes me towards it being from a theory to an actual thing that might happen.
the most
But
important
yeah,
part about this whole thing is their D&D campaign. And if you think about it, Season 1's campaign mirrors Season 5's story exactly the same. From Mike directly, we're told that the whole campaign was 10 hours long. Everyone is disappointed, much like us, the audience, and Dustin even says it's full of plot holes and that it was too short.
How was I supposed to know it was gonna take 10 hours? Yeah, man, the campaign was way too short. It was 10 hours!
But it doesn't make any sense.
It makes sense.
Oh, no. What about the lost night?
And the proud princess? And those weird flowers in the cave? I don't know.
The exact reaction we're all having right now. Keep in mind that D&D has been the backbone of the entire show for the entirety of the series. I'm going to come back to this point because I think it's the biggest point most people are missing. I'm going to get out of the show for
That
a little
seems
and actually make two
insane.
major points of how the conformity gate could actually be proven. And as of recording this, we actually had two new major breakthroughs in this theory. There's a hidden message on the WSGK flashlight, and if you actually see here, when we enhance it from the background, it clearly says
What?
Vecna lives. On top of this, the official
wait, what?
Netflix account has actually posted relating to the conformity gate theory. And as you can see on the screenshot, it clearly says hashtag what's next, the trending hashtag for the conformity gate theory, and then it gives us the date, January 7th,
Wow.
2026. The ending of
What?
Stranger Things feels bad because it
I mean, it's January. What is it? 13, 14 now?
wasn't meant to feel complete.
And so
and the
far,
reason
I've
for
not
that is
seen
simple. Vecna and the Mind Flayer are not the final villains. They are the intermediaries. There's a third higher entity operating behind everything, one rooted deeply
That
in
would be
Dungeons
cool.
and Dragons lore. And the show has been signaling this since Season 1. The Razadun, also known as the Chained God. The Razadun is not a typical evil god.
What?
He doesn't want power, control, or dominion over realms. He wants total annihilation of existence, including himself. He was imprisoned eons ago because even he was too dangerous for other gods. Despite being imprisoned,
Wow.
he still has influence, he still has followers, and many of those followers don't know they're serving him because he
Oh, hold up. This ties into Vecna's idea of merging the two realities because he's upset about mankind being corrupt. That makes sense. Like, if you think about it, if he's working for this thing, this entity wants to wipe out everything. And that kind of makes sense for what Vecna wants to do. Right? No, wiping out mankind and him. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
He
Think
hides
about that.
behind other gods, beings, and forces. His domains include eternal darkness, decay and entropy, madness, mistruth, and malign knowledge, and the cold. His holy symbols include dark spirals, a two-tiered inverted ziggurat, fractal spirals, and fractal spirals emerging from spirals. His form, a pitch-black rolling cloud-like mass, which aligns visually with the Upside Down and the Mind Flayer. So what was Vecna's role in this? Vecna's main role was misdirection. In official D&D modules, including Vecna, Vecna is called the Maimed Lord. But within the same text, the plot revolves around freeing the Chained God. Followers believe they're serving Vecna, but
Wow.
unknowingly advancing Thorazadun's release. This mirrors Stranger Things perfectly.
sounds like they
Vecna believes
need
he's
to
in
be
control. The Mind Flayer
a
acts
whole
as a
other
hive
season
mind,
if this was
but
true.
both may be tools, not the actual masterminds. This explains why we feel that Vecna feels narratively insufficient as a final villain. Next, we want to go into how 11 was the intended vessel. This theory argues that 11 was created to be Thorazadun's avatar on the material plane. Some key
Wow.
parallels we can make to D&D is that gods in D&D cannot exist physically without a vessel. 11 is a test subject 11. Thorazadun's divine rank is 11. Her void is described as endless, lightless, boundless, matching eternal darkness. And some additional symbolism we can use to conclude this is that Thorazadun is associated with cold. 11, since the beginning, unknowingly likes cold things. When they go to Starcourt Mall, she has a slushie and an ice cream in the same day, both reflecting cold imagery. And her first
Eggo
autonomous act,
waffles.
also in Starcourt Mall, was her picking clothes that have chaotic fractal-like patterns on them. Finally, in the background, we can hear Material Girl playing, while she visually resembles Thrasidon's fractal holy symbol, implying she was his material form. Lastly, we can make a major connection to Terry Ives and how she mirrors a D&D story involving a pregnant woman meant to birth a god. Both of them had memory loss, madness, repetition, and a forgotten dead husband, which strongly parallels Thrasidon's vessel lore. And I want to go deeper into the imagery behind the fractals, the spirals, and the visual language found throughout this entire show. Fractal and spiral imagery appears constantly throughout. Nancy's chemistry homework, rock formations shown in season 5 resembling the fractal spirals, sunflower imagery referenced by Terry, and how sunflowers directly show the Fibonacci sequence, an endless number of spirals. The merry-go-round spinning imagery, and in the epilogue, Max's skateboard design, showing the fractals again. All of these visually align with Thrasidon's spiral-based icons. So how does this actually relate to the story? Firstly, let's go with the relationship to Will, Mike, and the false god. Will is positioned as the true creator. Will creates exotic matter in his painting, similar to what's found in season 5, which implies that he has godlike or demigod creation powers, which may suggest that Will may have created the Upside Down, consciously or not. And Mike is often framed as a paladin, with his shield and sword imagery, and this is an important note because paladins often draw powers from their god. Over time, though we see in sketches, Mike's sword flips upside down. It loses its flame, and his shield becomes obscured. In D&D, worshipping a false god weakens a paladin. This theory suggests that Mike has unknowingly worshipped a false god, Thrasidon via 11, and his powers are weakened as a result, showing us why his campaign failed this season. And his true source of strength has always been Will, when he acts with love and honesty. This is why the ending of Stranger Things feels incomplete. The true antagonist has not been revealed yet. The show has purposely been guiding the audience to a false consensus. Vecna is not the endgame. He's just the distraction. Thrasidon, the god of entropy and eternal darkness, has been present since the beginning, and season 5 is about the consequences of nearly freeing him.
This season.
Wow. That took a turn that I didn't really expect. I didn't know about any of that last stuff. I had no idea. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to watch some more of these. And we'll be happy to break it down with you guys. This is more of like a kind of throw out the in general idea of conformity gate and the theory and what it means, what's been blowing up on the internet right now. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And most importantly, Jesus loves you. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you.